Olá a todos, bom dia a todos aqui no Brasil. Sejam todos muito bem-vindos ao webinar da ABC com a Colormix. Obrigado, Eliane Dornelas, por estar aqui conosco. Também agradeço a participação nos testes do Alexandre Monteiro, pela participação hoje do Karsten e pelo Frederic Campos, da COSPHADERM. Obrigado a Mayra na organização e assistência do nosso Por Trás das Câmeras e a Cida na tradução. Então, gente, gostaria, antes da gente começar, a gente fazer todo esse processo aqui nosso de webinar, que é bem simples, mas é bem rápido. Eu quero dar um lembrete para vocês que é bem legal, que vai acontecer na ABC, o HairTech ABC. Então, vai ser um evento único com a coordenação da diretora da ABC, Ana Carolina Ribeiro, e composto de um comitê científico de muito peso, que é a Solange Garcia e o Alberto Keiji Kurebayashi. Será com certeza mais um marco nosso aqui para a nossa cosmética brasileira. Terá a tradução simultânea para inglês, espanhol e português, E é um evento que está preparando as pessoas, por quê? Porque o mundo mudou e as necessidades para os cuidados com os cabelos também mudaram, principalmente com essa pandemia agora. Então, o HairTech trará todas as tecnologias e tendências desse mercado de cuidados e transformação dos cabelos, aliados aos novos comportamentos do consumidor. Então, pessoal, acesse agora aí casadacosmetologia.com.br, você vai conseguir conferir todos os detalhes, tá? Bem, então já estamos quase chegando na hora de começar aqui. Vocês vão poder fazer as perguntas pelo chat, tem um botãozinho de chat aqui embaixo. Vocês podem fazer essas perguntas, tá? A gente vai estar repassando essas perguntas para os apresentadores no final da apresentação. E eu vou pedir para que vocês já enviem essas perguntas em inglês, tá bom, gente? Vamos lá. Gostaríamos também de deixar todos confortáveis, porque vocês podem, a palestra hoje vai acontecer em inglês, os palestrantes hoje estão fora do Brasil, e vocês vão poder ouvir em português se quiserem, ou deixar em inglês na língua original, tá? Aqui embaixo vocês vão ver um botãozinho que tem lá, que é de tradução, se estiver em português, ou interpretation, tá? Vocês podem clicar, e aí vocês já conseguem escolher a língua. Se vocês clicarem em português, vocês vão ouvir o áudio em português. Sem mais delongas, então, vou pedir para subir o nosso palco, que já está a Eliane. Eliane, olha ela aí. Muito obrigado, Eliane, novamente, aqui por estar aqui com a gente. A Eliane, que já é uma apresentadora mais do que querida nossa aqui, e vai apresentar essa dupla, Então, Eliane, agora eu deixo com você, para você fazer essa apresentação belíssima aí do pessoal que vai fazer essa apresentação para a gente. Obrigado, Eliane. Vou deixar você.
Bom dia, Marcel. Se você puder subir a entrada. Bom dia a todos, Agradecemos aí a presença, e hoje o nosso foco, a estabilidade natural, em cosméticos modernos. Quem vai estar falando, através dessa parceria aí, Colormix ABC, é a nossa representada da Alemanha, a empresa COSPHADERM, na presença do Dias Karsten, que é o diretor de P&D e também é o diretor comercial para a área da Ásia e da Europa, da COSPHADERM. O Karsten é bioquímico de formação, com ênfase em microbiologia, e é doutor, pelo Instituto Max Planck, na área de proteínas, de membranas. Ele tem um estudo muito aprofundado sobre isso, Ele trabalhou na universidade como professor, trabalhou na Merck, na BASF, e há 8 anos ele toca a área técnica da COSPHADERM. E temos também a presença hoje do Frederic Fabisch, que é mestre em marketing pela Universidade de Yonkpoing, na Suécia, e é graduado em administração pela Universidade de Hans, na Holanda, com ênfase em vendas para o mercado internacional. And now it's with you, Karsten and Frederic. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So, yeah, good morning to Brazil. Good afternoon from Germany. It's really a pity that we cannot be in person in Brazil. Definitely, we would highly prefer, not least because of the weather. Winter is coming here in Germany. It becomes really cold, like in your refrigerator. So it would be much better to be in Brazil. But yeah, we have to face the situation right now with COVID-19, and I hope all of you are healthy and fine so far, and in future we can go back to our previous life, and yeah, everything will become better. So today I would like to present you some or give you an introduction to our company and what we are doing and what kind of products we are producing. So I will share my screen and then we can start. So the topic of my talk today is natural stability for modern cosmetics. So skin-friendly antimicrobials, antioxidants, and thickeners. So what is our company doing? We are raw material producers and we try to cover the essential needs of formulators for really modern cosmetics. So products we are producing are for the microbial stability, to have a good stability against bacteria, yeasts, and molds. We are also producing antioxidants to protect your formulation against oxidation, or also to have an antioxidant for your skin against UV light and potential radicals. And of course, we are also producing thickeners to provide a good stability against phase separation in emulsions and to increase the viscosity. And furthermore, we have some actives in our portfolio, for example, to have a natural replacement for harmful silicones. So what is really important for us and for our products? We want to, or we are producing biodegradable products from sustainable and natural sources. Of course, all of our products are produced under the highest German quality standards, and which is also very important for us and for modern cosmetics, we are always looking or want to have only products that have a positive effect to the skin. So I will start with a short introduction to our company, that you know where we are located. And then I will talk about preservation, alternative preservation. After that, the influence of thickeners to the stability and to the final skin feeling of formulations. I will talk about antioxidants, and I've selected some of our actives and will introduce you to these products. So what makes us special? So we can give you a really good technical and regulatory expertise. So this means we can consult you to make your products better, to replace listed preservatives, to improve the stability, viscosity of your formulation. And we are also offering challenge tests for this. So if you want to find out if our products are suitable to replace your preservatives, please ask our distributor and we can arrange challenge tests for you. We are also offering on our website a lot of different frame formulations, so please check it out and scroll through all the different frame formulations to get a better idea about our products and what you can do with our products. We are a mid-sized company, so a familiar and dynamic atmosphere is really important for us. And this is also the reason that we are able to offer you an individual and flexible service. So this might be a big difference to the really very big one, cosmetic raw material producers. And of course, what is important for us, please, it doesn't matter if you are a small, mid-size or big company, we have products for everyone. So what is important for us to develop a long-term partnership and to grow together and to be successful in the cosmetic market. All of our products are following the highest quality standards. So this means whenever possible, we try to approve our products at Cosmos. All of our products are vegan and non-GMO. And of course, if we are using palm oil in our production line, we are always following the RSPO standard. As I mentioned in the beginning, we are located in Germany. We are in the north of Germany in Hamburg, and we have one branch office in Shanghai, also a warehouse over there. My team is working there, and this is mainly to have a faster access and a better support for our Asian customers. Our production plants are located in Germany and in the Netherlands. In a lot of countries, we are working together with distributors. So overall, we are covering so far 33 different countries. And in Brazil, as you might know, we are working together with Colormix. So whenever you have any questions, please get in contact with them and they can arrange a meeting or what else is needed to fulfill your requirements. So let's start with the main topic of my talk today, preservation of cosmetic formulations. Directly at the beginning, I would like to start with two important questions. The first one is, what is a preservative? And the second one, what are the trends and the strategies for preservation now and maybe in future? The first question sounds to be easy, but it's not so easy. Sometimes our customers, in particular from other countries or continents, are a little bit surprised because they can see some kind of marketing in Europe and they can find some label on the packaging which says free of preservatives. Of course, it is always important to have antimicrobial substances in your formulation to have a good efficiency against bacteria, yeasts, and molds. But what is the reason for this kind of marketing term? The reason is that in Europe, everyone is following the European cosmetic regulation. And in the European cosmetic regulation, preservatives are defined as substances that have only one function, and this one function is to preserve. So currently you can find 57 listed substances over there. Other substances that have additional effects, positive effects, for example, like skin conditioning and an antimicrobial efficiency, are not listed as a preservatives. And exactly these kind of products are the manufacturers using that are finally claiming or using claims like free of listed preservatives. If we compare this to the microbiology point of view, for sure, all substances that have an antimicrobial efficiency are in a way preservatives. And this would also include very old traditional substances like oil, diol, salts, alcohol, honey, and things like this. But what is the right way of preservation? It's definitely much more than just eliminating bacteria, yeasts, and molds as fast as possible, because this would mainly belong to disinfectant products. But for cosmetics, it is rather the art of making cosmetics uncomfortable for germs, but highly attractive for consumers at the same time. So we want to have very skin-friendly products, but at the same time, we want to avoid that bacteria, yeasts, and molds are growing in our formulations. The alternative preservation or replacement of listed preservatives increased in the last 10 to 15 years. But of course, maybe the highest influence to this kind of trend is because of the internet and some kind of databases in the internet and rating apps. Frankly speaking, 15 to 20 years ago, a lot of scientific knowledge was needed to really understand the INCI of a formulation for normal consumers. But nowadays, it became very, very easy by using these kind of apps, because you just have to open the app and to find out what kind of ingredients are used and if they have a good rating or a bad rating. Some of these apps still contain a kind of barcode scanner, and this makes it very, very easy for the final consumer to find out if the ingredients in the formulation they might purchase are good or if they are not good for their skin. If we take a look to the increasing trend, it's also interesting that 90% of green cosmetic consumers buy natural cosmetics because they really fear synthetic substances. And this, of course, increased during the pandemic situation because people are more sensitive regarding this topic. So they want to take care more of their health, and they just prefer natural products compared to synthetic products. If we take a look to the global turnover of green brands in 2018, it was 9% of the total market share, so more than 32 billion US dollars. Nowadays, in 2020, it is more than 10 or 11%, so it's still increasing. If we compare preservatives to multifunctionals or alternative antimicrobials, what are the advantages and disadvantages? So of course, if you are using a preservative, the biggest advantage is they are inexpensive because they are produced in a huge amount. But the disadvantages are very often you have negative side effects. Very often you have a bad rating in these kind of rating apps I mentioned before. And very often you have a limitation, a restricted dosage based on the application where you want to use it. If we take a look to the alternative preservatives or multifunctionals, we have these advantages here. So we have additional positive effects. We have an innovative product which is good for the marketing and a very good rating. So all of our products in our portfolio have the best rating in these rating apps, and you are absolutely not restricted. So you can use every concentration, whatever you want in every formulation. The disadvantages are, of course, the costs compared to standard preservatives are higher. So which kind of products fit to your needs? Here is a rough overview of all of our products that belong to the preservatives or alternative preservatives. And I don't want to go into detail. This is more or less for you to have a deeper view and a deeper overview of all of our products. But I will talk about some of these products on my next slides. So let's start with our COSPHADERM line. What is COSPHADERM? So COSPHADERM are maybe the first step for lowering the amount of preservatives in your formulation. So the COSPHADERM series are mixtures of well-tolerated preservatives plus a multifunctional. And finally, by using these blends, you can reduce the amount of the preservative in your formulation. All of them are highly efficient, liquid, and transparent. They have less negative side effects. And of course, we are not using highly criticized preservatives like parabens, MIT, MCIT, and formaldehyde separators, and they give you a really good price-performance ratio. So please let me start with the first one, which is called COSPHADERM Pol. COSPHADERM Pol consists of two active ingredients, the sodium levolinate as a multifunctional and the potassium sorbate as a listed preservative. Recommended dosage is 1.5% to 2.0%, and it's mainly used in wet wipes and rinse-off products. It's soluble in water. Recommended pH value is 3.5 to 5.5. Let's take a look to typical challenge test results. So Here you can see challenge test results in a day cream, in an emulsion. Here you can see challenge test results in a shower gel, and here in a micellar water. All the challenge tests I will show you today will always show here the days and here the countable forming units in a logarithmic scale. So starting with 1 million, 100,000, 10,000, 1,110. And what you can see here in all kind of challenge test results, that the COSPHADERM POL is a really very efficient preservative and is able to reduce bacteria, yeasts, and molds really very fast. Another product we are offering is called COSPHADERM Elbe. Elbe is also mainly used in rinse-off products. It's soluble in water. Recommended pH value is 3.5 to 5.5. And again, we are using here the sodium levolinate as a multifunctional and sodium benzoate as a listed preservative. If we take a look to the challenge test results, you can see that it is a little bit less efficient compared to POL, but still good enough to get the best rating in challenge tests. And the third product we have in our portfolio is called COSPHADERM Cap. COSPHADERM Cap is a synthetic product. So the first two, POL and Elbe, I showed you are Cosmos approved substances. Here, this one is a synthetic mixture. Active ingredients are phenoxyethanol and octiol or caprylyl glycol. And the recommended dosage is 0.8 to 1.1%, and it's mainly used in leave-on products like, for example, emulsions. It is working pH independently, which is definitely a big advantage. So let's take a look to the challenge test results. You can see here always in a day cream, in a shower gel, and in a micellar water that 1% of this mixture was used. And again, here we have a very fast reduction of bacteria, yeasts, and molds. So finally, these challenge tests here ended again with a very, very good rating. I would like to continue now with our multifunctional line, because the multifunctionals are definitely our favorite products and the main focus in our portfolio. So the multifunctionals might be your first step to completely replace listed preservatives. You can start, for example, with our synthetic multifunctionals, which are, from a chemical point of view, absolutely identical to the natural substances, but they are synthetically produced and therefore the costs are lower. So all of them show a really strong antimicrobial efficiency and this is a big advantage, additional positive effects. So here are a list of our completely natural derived multifunctionals. I will not go into detail of these single substances today because we don't have enough time for this. If you are interested in this, please get in contact with Colormix and arrange a separate Zoom meeting, and then we can talk about the different single substances in detail. And I mentioned it before, we are also offering synthetic single substances, which are from a chemical point of view identical, but they are just nature identical and not completely natural derived. But what I would like to show you today are our natural and synthetic blends that are very easy to use for our customers. So I will start now with our natural blends. The natural blends are completely natural and Cosmos approved. We are not using listed preservatives in these blends, and all of them show a strong antimicrobial efficiency. so they are efficient against bacteria, yeasts, and molds.
Hey, Karsten, how are you doing? Sorry to interrupt your presentation. We're having one little issue with the translation.
Okay.
Is it possible to wait just a minute? We're going to reconnect with the translator.
Yeah, of course.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Please let me know when you are
Ok, pessoal, digam aqui no chat se vocês estão ouvindo a voz da tradutora. No português, clique na interpretação português. Quem puder só responder no chat. Quem tiver no chat é só dizer se está ouvindo. Por favor, Cida, tradutora. Vamos lá, Karsten. Desde qual slide vocês não ouviram, pessoal? Coisa bem rápida, tá? De repente a gente vai solicitar aqui para o Karsten voltar. Peço desculpas novamente. Todos estão te ouvindo, Cida. Só manter, Cida, já vai. Karsten, is it possible for you to come back, I don't know, about 5 slides?
earlier?
Is that okay for everybody?
Yeah, maybe here?
Yeah, I think from there. Okay. Thank you so much, Karsten. So sorry.
No problem.
Can start again.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk again about the multifunctionals. So what does multifunctional means? It means that we have several positive effects, and all of these multifunctionals are suitable to completely replace listed preservatives. So for you, this means if you don't care about COSMA certification, I highly recommend to use our synthetic products because they are, from a chemical point of view, absolutely identical to the completely natural substances, but they are synthetically produced and therefore costs are lower. All of them have in common that they have a strong antimicrobial efficiency, and I mentioned it before, additional positive effects. They are also suitable if you just want to reduce the amount of your listed preservatives. You can also use them as a booster to reduce the amount of listed preservatives. So here in this table is an overview of all of our natural products. So all of them are Cosmos approved. And today, unfortunately, I cannot go into detail of each of these products here because we don't have enough time for this. I just showed you this overview that you get an idea which one are working against bacteria and which one are working against yeasts and molds. And if you are looking for some products that are only effective against bacteria or only effective against yeasts and molds, please get in contact to Colormix and arrange a separate Zoom meeting, and then we can talk about your project and consult you in the best way. And here is a second table. And in this table, you can see the synthetically produced substances. So they are not Cosmos approved, but again, from a chemical point of view, identical to the nature-derived substances. What I would like to show you today are our natural blends. So the natural blends are completely Cosmos approved, and they do not contain any listed preservatives, but they are highly efficient against bacteria, yeasts, and molds. And the big advantage is they have additional positive effects for the human skin. So please let me start with the first blend, which is called COSPHADERM sodium LAS. Sodium LAS consists of 2 active ingredients, sodium levolinate and sodium anisate. Sodium levolinate is efficient against bacteria, sodium anisate is efficient against yeasts and molds. This product is produced by a spray drying process. So each very small molecule is the perfect mixture of both substances. The recommended dosage is 1.0 to 1.2%. It's very easy to dissolve it in water. And the recommended final pH value is 5.0 to 6.0. This combination is still in Europe the #1 combination for baby care products because of its excellent skin tolerance. So it is absolutely not irritant for the skin, even for very sensitive baby skin. You can see here 2 challenge test results. This one here is a baby cream. This one here is a shampoo. Both of them are at a pH value of 5.5. And what you can see is that it is able to reduce bacteria, yeasts, and molds very, very fast. The second product I would like to introduce you to is called COSPHADERM MULTIMAC. MULTIMAC was mainly invented and produced for emulsions. Recommended dosage is 1.2 to 1.4%. And active ingredients are pentual natural, GMCY, and magnolia extract 98. The magnolia extract here is a very special extract, which is very, very interesting for cosmetic formulations because it has a lot of very positive effects. On one hand, it can be used for alternative preservation because it's very strong against yeast and molds. On the other hand, it can also be used as a natural anti-acne material because it is very strong against acne bacteria. And it can also be used for oral care products because it is also shows a very high efficiency against bacteria that cause caries and periodontitis. You can get it as a single material and use it as an active, or you can also use it for alternative preservation. And here in this blend, you have finally both. You have a good alternative preservative plus a very good active inside. So the pH range where you can use this blend is 3.5 to 7.0, and you just can add it to the fat phase of your formulation, or you can add it in the end to your formulation. If we take a look to the challenge test results, you can see here a challenge test in a lip balm and here in a body lotion at a high pH value, which was 7.0. And in both cases, the reduction of bacteria, yeasts, and molds was very fast, maybe a little bit too fast. So in both cases, I would recommend to use a little lower concentration because it is not needed to completely kill yeasts and molds at day 2. And one more blend, natural blend, is COSPHADERM TOM. TOM is a little bit similar to MULTIMAC, but instead of the magnolia extract, we have the GMOD inside, and GMOD is glycerol undeculinate. So this one here is effective against yeasts and molds, whereas pentual natural and GMCY are more effective against bacteria. Recommended dosage is 2.0 to 2.5%. Recommended pH value is 3.5 to 7.0%. It is Cosmos approved. And if we take a look to the challenge test results, you can see that bacteria gets killed really fast. Yeasts and molds are here absolutely okay and could finish the challenge test with a very good rating because on day 14, we have less than 100 countable forming unit, and we started from 500,000 countable forming units. You can also use it in rinse-off products, but you need to consider that it is not completely water soluble, it's only water dispersible. So if your shampoo or your shower gel is turbid, it doesn't matter, you can use it, but if you want to have a transparent shampoo or shower gel, I would recommend another alternative preservative. And finally, I would like to introduce you to one of our synthetic blends. And this blend is also free of listed preservatives, but it is not Cosmos approved. Costs are really low, so you can really have low preservation costs by using this blend. And the blend I would like to introduce you to is called COSPHADERM Dicapo. COSPHADERM Dicapo consists of these two actives here, GMCY and octiol or caprylyl glycol. The recommended dosage is low. It is 0.5 to 0.7%, and the recommended pH range is 3.5 to 7.0. You can add it to the water phase or to the fat phase or in the end, so it's a very, very user-friendly blend. If we take a look to challenge test results, you can see here a challenge test result in an emulsion and here in a stem cell elixir. And in both cases, again, the reduction of bacteria, yeasts, and molds is really very good, and it could finish with a very good rating. So this was the first part of my talk today. And now we are going to change the topic, and we will go on with the influence of thickeners to the stability and also to the skin feeling. So all thickeners we are offering and gelling agents we are offering are natural and vegan. Exceptional one, they are highly transparent. All of them are highly stable, very easy to disperse, and they are very fast soluble. And which is really important, they will create a formulation which a very low stickiness. And this is really important because the influence of a xanthan gum, for example, to the final skin feeling is really huge. So if you have a very good formulation, but if you are using a very bad xanthan gum, you can completely destroy the skin feeling of your formulation, because then the formulation feels sticky on the skin. And furthermore, xanthan gums also have a huge influence to the emulsion stability, which I will show you on my next slides. So what are the advantages of our xanthan gums? First of all, they are highly resistant to pH variations. It doesn't matter what kind of pH value you have, they will always have a very, very good viscosity yield. They are showing a high thermal stability. They are natural and certified. Most of them are highly transparent, and they are not affected by other ingredients like enzymes, for example, cellulases, amylases, proteases, whatever you are using, their viscosity increasing effect is not affected. So what makes our xanthan gums a little bit special? So xanthan gums are produced by biofermentation. We are doing this, our competitors are doing this. But then if you want to have a highly transparent xanthan gum, you need to get rid of side products from the biofermentation. And to get rid of these side products, you need an enzyme. And our competitors are using chicken egg-derived lysozyme to get a highly transparent xanthan gum, but then it is not any longer vegan. Most of them are also offering vegan xanthan gums, but then they are not transparent. And this vegan topic popped up 4 or 5 years ago in Europe, and then we investigated and tried to find out, is there any kind of plant-derived enzyme to replace chicken egg lysozyme? And we could find one. So we are able to offer you finally a highly transparent and vegan xanthan gum. Regarding the transparency, here is a slide to get a kind of idea how transparent our xanthan gums are. So in the middle, you can see pure water, and then you can see here always the water plus 0.5% of the xanthan gum. The X7 is a turbid xanthan gum, the only turbid one in our portfolio, which is mainly used in emulsions. The X24 shows an excellent transparency, which is round about 94 to 96% in each batch. And then we are offering X34, also highly transparent, and the X-Soft, also very transparent. X-Soft is a little bit special because it is a relatively unique xanthan gum that creates a very, very unique, very velvet skin feeling. All of our products or xanthan gums are Cosmos approved, vegan, non-GMO, food approved, kosher and halal. So nearly everything what you need for getting a kind of certification for your product. And now I would like to show you a short video, but first I need to change here some, just a second. Okay, let's go again. And I will share with you now here the video.
Xanthan gums come in sand grain consistency or fine powder. It does not clump easily, produces a clear solution, has a very high water solubility, and dissolves very quickly into a high viscous structure. Competing products first clump, take much longer to gel, and become cloudy. Our test shows the instant solubility of our xanthan gums into transparent viscose fluids, pretty perfect for your production.
So let's go on now. You can also take a look to our website where you can find the long video. This was just a very short part of the video that shows you how fast the xanthan gum is soluble. And the reason for this is that we are doing a so-called agglomeration process, which means that the xanthan gum is not a powder and it's like salt crystals, and therefore it is much less aggregate forming and much faster soluble. So what about the influence to the emulsion stability? Here you can see a test with a so-called lumicizer. And the lumicizer is a machine that is like a centrifuge, but and you put in each tube, there is the emulsion inside. And then with a laser, the phase separation is measured over the time. And what we did here, we prepared an emulsion with our xanthan gums and with a standard xanthan gum we got from one of our customers. And the result was also a little bit a surprise for us, because the difference and the influence of the xanthan gum to the emulsion stability was really huge. The standard xanthan gum after 24 hours showed 17 millimeters of phase separation, whereas our xanthan gums in the same concentration showed only 2.3, respectively 2.5 millimeters of phase separation. And the reason is, the better the xanthan gum, the better the network of the xanthan gum in your formulation is, the better is the emulsion stability in your formulation. And on my first slide, I mentioned this. The xanthan gums are highly pH tolerant. So this means even at extreme pH values, which are not really commonly used in cosmetic formulations, so let's say pH value of 1 or pH value of 13, it doesn't matter what kind of pH value you have, you will always have the same viscosity yield, so the same behavior of your formulation. If we take a look to the tolerance of sodium chloride, you can also see that in very commonly used concentrations, so let's say 0% up to 3%, that the viscosity yield is absolutely stable. Only at very high concentrations, so 10% or more, it will decrease. And we also have a gelling agent, a natural gelling agent in our portfolio. I guess this one is more common in Brazil than in Europe. In Europe, nearly no customer knows this extract. It's Amorphalus konjac root extract or glucomannan. It's natural and it's gel and film forming. And this is a big difference to xanthan gum, because xanthan gum is a thickener, but not a gel former. So for example, if you want to replace carbomer, carbopol, so polyacrylic acid, you cannot replace this by xanthan gum, but you can replace it by konjac gum. If we compare the viscosity yield to xanthan gums, it shows a 3 to 4 times higher viscosity yield, and you will not find in nature any product or any extract that shows a higher viscosity yield than Amorphalus konjac root extract. What is also really interesting is that it shows a synergetic effect when you combine it with xanthan gum. So in this case here, we combine 0.5% of konjac gum and 0.5% of X34. And when you heat it to around about 70 to 80 degrees, you got a thermo-reversible gel. So this means it becomes a real jelly, and whenever you heat it, it becomes liquid. When you cool it down, it becomes like this jelly here. And this is sometimes used by some of our customers to create kind of jelly soaps or jelly facial masks or skin pads, kind of formulations like this. So let's go on with our antioxidants. So the antioxidants we are offering are mixed tocopherols and alpha tocopherol. And what is really important to understand is that if you are looking for mixed tocopherols, which are mainly suitable to protect your formulation against oxidation processes, then the tocopherols must be derived from rapeseed or from soybean, because these two plants consist of mixed tocopherols. But if you want to use the tocopherol as a bioactive tocopherol, so to protect the fatty acids in our membranes, in our skin against oxidation, then we need tocopherols that are sunflower derived, because they mainly consist of alpha tocopherol, and only alpha tocopherol is bioactive. And it's also important to understand that the natural alpha tocopherol shows a much higher efficiency compared to the synthetic alpha tocopherol that is also available on the market. And how efficient is or are the tocopherols? So I would like to show you here some Rancimart tests. We can also offer you Rancimart tests if you want to check out or if you want to find a good antioxidant for your very specific oil mixture. You just can send us a part of your oil mixture, so let's say 200 to 300 grams, and we can do some Rancimart tests for you. And finally, what is the Rancimart doing? You have here different kind of chambers, and in one chamber you add your reference, and the reference is the pure oil or oil mixture without any antioxidant. And in the other chambers you can then add the same oil or oil mixture plus a very specific amount of an antioxidant, and then all the samples here got heated under a continuously airflow, and what you get in the end is the so-called induction time. So you will heat it and the machine will detect when do the different samples get rancid. So the longer or the higher the induction time, the longer is the oil or the oil mixture stable. And if we combine, or if we compare here synthetic substances like BHT or BHA against our tocopherols, you can see that the same amount of tocopherol is able to protect the oil or the oil phase in a better way for a longer time. So without any antioxidant, the oil mixture became rancid after nearly 14 hours. With BHT, 21 hours. With the same amount of tocopherol, mixed tocopherol, 24.5 hours. And if you increase the amount, of course, you will have a higher efficiency. With 0.2% of BHT, it was stable for 28 hours, but with the same amount of mixed tocopherols, it was stable for 32 or nearly 33 hours. So they are still the most efficient antioxidants you can find. And finally, let's talk about 3 of our actives I have selected for today. The first one is very common in the cosmetic market. So we are also producing different kind of hyaluronic acids. So a very small molecular weight version, which means smaller than 5 kilodalton, a low molecular weight, which means smaller than 50 kilodalton, a normal grade, and a high molecular weight grade. So I guess I don't have to explain this in detail. These 2 are mainly against or for anti-aging effect because they can penetrate into deeper skin areas. These one here are more skin conditioning. And the last 2 products I would like to introduce you to could be really interesting for the Brazilian market. The first one is COSPHADERM Feel. COSPHADERM Feel is a very good natural cyclomethicone D5 replacement. So if you use it in an emulsion or in an oil, the emulsion and oil becomes a very high spreadability. It feels very nice on the skin and it creates a very silky skin feeling. But of course, you can also use it in sunscreens or in makeup remover formulations because the Feel is also an excellent solvent for UV filters and also for dyes. So this is a big advantage, for example, in a makeup remover. If you are using Feel, it's excellent to remove also water-resistant makeup, but without any irritation, like you might know from alcohol. So this is a big advantage because you have a skin conditioning effect plus a very good remover for the makeup. And the last product I would like to introduce you to is a synthetic product. It's called VBE. VBE is vanillyl butyl ether, and it increases the blood flux. So it is a replacement for capsaicin from child pepper. And what you can see here is the influence of VBE to the local cell blood flux. So here you can see different concentrations. And you can see here, this column shows the measured increase of the local cell blood flux, and the other one shows the personal feeling of the volunteers, if they could feel a warming effect or not. And it becomes interesting with a concentration around 0.3% because the blood flux is increased about 25% and more than 90% could feel a warming effect. And by using 0.5%, the blood flux is increased about 50%. Some of our customers are also using this as an anti-cellulite material to increase the blood flux for the skin. We also have some customers who are using this in oral care products, but then of course in a lower dosage, because if you increase the blood flux in your mouth, it is very healthy for the teeth. So they are using this in mouth washes mainly. And of course, we have a couple of Russian customers that are using this in food creams to have a warming effect. One very interesting additional effect of VBE is that it promotes hair growth. So far it is studied at different universities, this effect, but what is known so far, here are the results from one publication, is that the VBE binds to the so-called TPVR1 receptor in our skin. And after binding to this receptor, we have an influx of calcium. And this influx results in the production of a neuropeptide. And this neuropeptide stimulates the production of one growth factor, the IGF-1, and this growth factor is important for a stronger hair growth. So in this study, they tested 48 volunteers, and after 5 months, 64.5% of the volunteers showed an increased hair growth on these areas where they were treated with the VBE containing formulation. So this is everything for today. I am really happy that I could show you here a part of our portfolio, and hopefully I got your interest that you might look to our brochure and to our further products. And of course, as I mentioned 2 or 3 times in my talk, please do not hesitate to get in contact with Colormix and maybe to arrange then a very personal Zoom meeting and to talk about your project in detail. So thank you very much. And yeah, I will give the word now back to my colleagues from Colormix.
Thank you so much, Carsten. Okay, thank you so much. We got some questions for you. Okay?
Yes, for sure.
Let's start with Daniela. She made this question. Are these preservatives supplied to compounding pharmacies or just for industry?
So we are producing for the cosmetic industry. I mean, we have some customers that are working for food. One is producing baby food, but we are not really experienced with pharmaceutical products. So our regulatory department takes care of everything regarding cosmetics, and regarding pharmaceutical products, we need to differ a little bit because we have a couple of customers that are producing for cosmetics that are only sold in pharmaceutical stores, but they are not used in pharmaceutical products like tablets or like a juice you are swallowing. These kind of requirements are not our field.
Okay, let's go to the next question. It's from Santa Maria. I think it's her name, Santa Maria. In a product with high oil content, what would you recommend to prevent oxidation, odor, and coloring?
Definitely, I would recommend the tocopherols. Maybe what is also very suitable is a combination of tocopherol and ascorbyl palmitate. We just developed a new blend, so it will be, or it got launched last week. It is called TAPMix, and it is a mixture of tocopherol, ascorbyl palmitate, and natural lecithin from sunflower. So it's very user-friendly and easy to add to the formulation. And of course, finally, I would recommend to do a challenge test and to find out which kind of mixture and concentration is the best, because there is no general answer existing, because important is what kind of oils are used. Are mainly unsaturated oils used or mainly saturated oils used? And what is the final packaging? Is it protected against light? So is it in a transparent packaging or not? How is it used? I mean, if you have a sunscreen and the final consumer might take this formulation to the beach and the sunscreen is lying for 10 hours in the sun, of course you have higher, you need a stronger antioxidative efficiency compared to a standard formulation that is just stored in your bathroom at home. So I think the best way is get in contact with us, and of course we can arrange some Ranzimar testing, which are free for the customer.
Okay, I have another question from Sebastian. He's asking, are the multifunctional products mentioned to preserve anionic products too?
Yes, so it depends a little bit. Sometimes you have some kind of interactions. In general, I recommend if you have a product, please share with us what you are looking for. And if you are allowed, please share with us the INCI list. We do not need the formula. I know the formula are confidential, but if they are allowed to share the INCI list, it is very helpful for us, because then we can check all the ingredients that are used in the formulation, and we can give him some very specific recommendations, which kind of our products are suitable and which one we would not recommend to use in this formulation. Okay,
let's go to the next one. COSPHADERM X34 has the INCI xanthan gum, the same INCI as the xanthan gum found on the market. What's the difference about it to have with transparency?
You mean the difference to other xanthan gums with the same viscosity yield?
Well, let me try to understand the question. I think they're comparing the COSPHADERM FX4 has the INCI xanthan gum, the same INCI as the xanthan gums found on the market. What's the difference about both of them and to have for the transparency?
Okay, so the xanthan gums X24 and X34 are very similar. The transparency is nearly the same. So you will not see any difference in your formulation. The only difference is that the X24 is not agglomerated. The agglomeration process is what I mentioned in the video, that the agglomeration means that it is very fast soluble in pure water, that you have these kind of crystals. But of course, this kind of agglomeration process is expensive, therefore costs for X34 are higher compared to X24. But the transparency is definitely for both products very, very high. And I know you will not find a higher transparency in the market like we are specifying for our xanthan gums.
Okay, another question we got here. What is the main advantage of using a blended preservative?
The main advantage is that it might be more user-friendly. I mean, if you are using a blend, it's very easy for you because you have just one product, you add it in a specific concentration to your formulation, and you are fine against bacteria, yeasts, and molds. So any kind of pitfalls or failures during the production in the facility are very low because it's a liquid blend. You just have to add a specific concentration and you are fine. And also when you are purchasing the material, you have only one barrel of this blend in your warehouse. And if you are using it in several products line, your demand might be higher and you get better prices. But compared to the single substances are harder to use, more challenging, because you always have to find out which kind of combination is the best for my specific formulation. But the advantage is you can do a kind of fine tuning. So which means if you have an emulsion and if you have a shampoo and in your emulsion you have some problems with molds, you can increase the single substance that is effective against molds. If you have in your shampoo a bigger challenge with bacteria, you can solely increase the amount of the raw material of the substance that is effective against bacteria. So the fine tuning is better, but it means also more work finally.
Okay, so what's what preservative is better for babies? Okay, that guarantees product stability and does not irritate the baby's skin.
which kind, or shall I compare to? So as I mentioned in my presentation, the combination of levulinic and anisic acid or the blend sodium LAS is a blend I highly recommend because it's used in baby care products since more than 20 years, this combination, and we never heard about any kind of problems with irritation. There are also other combinations existing that are suitable. Of course, Multimec is also interesting for baby care, for emulsions, but the advantage of sodium LAS or of levulinic acid and anisic acid, if you are using the single substances, is that you can use it in all formulations. Multimec is more suitable for emulsions, but not really suitable for shampoo and shower gels. So I would go for the organic acids and therefore for the sodium LAS or COSPHADERM La-T plus anisic acid.
Okay, I have one last question here. The other question is going to be answered by Eliane, okay?
Yep.
So the last question I got here is there any in vitro or in vivo efficiency test for the hyaluronic acids? Is there? And working alone and working together as a 3G or 4G products case, is there any kind of tests?
There are several tests existing regarding this. A lot of publications are available. And to be honest, we have the very small molecular weight in our portfolio because some of our customers ask us, can you also produce a hyaluronic acid smaller than 5 kilodalton? But based on the scientific knowledge, it has not an advantage to the anti-aging effect. So it is well known by studies in vivo and in vitro studies that a molecular weight smaller 50 kilodalton is needed to penetrate into deeper skin areas, but it is not helpful to have a molecular weight smaller than 5 kilodalton.
Okay, thank you so much, Carson. Now I invite here to our virtual stage, Eliane. Please turn on your video and your microphone so you can say the final words before we finish.
Okay, thank you very much.
Eliane. You can see you, Eliane. Just.
Olá.
Eliane? Vamos lá,
Oi, olá, estou aqui.
Podemos seguir com as suas considerações finais para a gente fazer a finalização.
Você vai puxar aquela tela? Obrigada.
Isso.
Bem, antes de fazer os agradecimentos a todos, eu queria responder duas questões rapidinhas que foram direcionadas a mim. Uma é sobre a relação de custo e benefício entre o BHT e o COSPHADERM T70 non-GMO. Então, quando a gente fala em custo e valor, depende de apelo e do que a gente está oferecendo. Então, BHT é uma substância, hormônio semelhante, que está em vias aí da gente substituí-las, enquanto que o COSPHADERM, a vitamina E tocoferol de alfa, beta e gama componentes, ela traz um benefício absurdo, não só no ponto de vista de eficácia, mas também do apelo de marketing, e a utilização é muito baixa. Então, eu acho que a gente chega aí numa equação que empata, tá? E a outra questão é que perguntaram sobre fornecimento para as farmácias de manipulação. A Colormix fraciona, então entre em contato com a gente que a gente explica direitinho, tá bom? Então, encerrando, em nome do Departamento de Ciências da Vida da Colormix, a gente agradece muito, a participação dos palestrantes, o Dr. Carsten, o Frederic, e toda a equipe aí da COSPHATEC, que nos apoia tecnicamente e comercialmente. Agradecemos muito a parceria também com a ABC, que nos permite estar aqui em contato, com todos os seus associados, e principalmente a presença de todos, e que a Colormix tem um departamento, né, técnico que está sempre à disposição para atendê-los e entregar aí opções e soluções para as dúvidas, né, e dos projetos que vocês têm. Então, são todos bem-vindos, e trabalhar com a COSPHADERM para nós é uma bênção, é uma alegria. Então, estou deixando aqui, né, o meu Instagram, o site da Colormix, www.colormix.net.br ou @colormix.especialidades no Instagram, e no site da Colormix, na parte de Ciências da Vida, a gente tem um catálogo virtual, que tem todas as informações. E sobre a disponibilização desta apresentação e outras webinários que nós fizemos, acessem o canal do YouTube da Colormix, que está tudo lá, traduzido bonitinho. Né? Então, obrigada a todos, obrigado. Thank you, Dr. Carsten and Frederic, and COSPHATEC team, Marcel, todo mundo aí da ABC, muito obrigada.
Bem, obrigado então, Eliane, obrigado, thank you so much, Dr. Carsten, obrigado a todos, obrigado então pela participação, obrigado a Eliane, né, que estava aqui com a gente, o Alexandre também Monteiro, que estava lá nos nossos testes, a Mayra, a Cida aqui na tradução. Lembre-se de acessar o HairTech, então, Congresso de Cosmetologia, casodacosmetologia.com.br, você vai conseguir acessar as informações do HairTech, da ABC, e fiquem atentos aos próximos webinars, principalmente os da Colormix, que vão acontecer aqui com a gente nos nossos webinars da ABC. Obrigado a todos, obrigado, Eliane, thank you so much, Carsten. Your last words, Carsten?
Thank you very much, stay healthy, and hopefully we can meet in person next time.
Ok, thank you so much, have a good one. Obrigado, então, gente, ficamos por aqui. Eliane, grande abraço a todos, tchauzinho a todos, a gente se vê no próximo webinar.
Bye, bye.
Tchau, tchau.
Bye, bye.